Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to Aimless Babble Z, episode 224. I'm Ticketmaster, joined by
RPG Maniac 05.
And Traptical.
So you know how it goes. What you've been playing, the news, and any aimless adventures we might have in between. Anybody out there listening on the Twitch livestream, feel free to drop by in the chat and be like, type.
Don't say anything, because if you interrupt us, I'll cut you. I'll cut you deep.
Can, oh my. Respond to your comments live on air. So who wants to start with what they've been playing?
I will. I mean, because I've only been playing the same stuff, so. I finished up Danganronpa this past week. So, that's over now. So I'm sad, because now it's over. But, the second game's getting localized this fall, so yay! Have that to look forward to at least. So
Soon.
I know. And it was like, they announced the localization like right after the first game was released, so either they had a lot of faith or they were just trying to get it out of there. It was like, let's hurry up and do that, so that's the thing. Also been playing Tokenin. Just been doing a lot of multiplayer stuff, and that's pretty much it. Nothing too exciting going on in the gaming front right now, so yeah.
Oh, I guess I'll go next. Final Fantasy Tactics Towards the Lions Let's Play is finished. However, I've not uploaded the last videos to YouTube, so still one a day. I've got them in the can, so it's just a matter of flipping the switch on the on my side of things on the YouTube. So, but it's like, yeah, it's like, I still love the game. I can go back. It's like one of those timeless classics, like a movie you can just watch anytime and enjoy, like Forrest Gump, and be like, I love you, Jenai, and it's like, oh, I love this movie. But I guess that would be my art review for Final Fantasy Tactics Towards the Lions. It's a timeless classic like Forrest Gump. You can just go back and it's always fantastic. And then besides that,
I think I missed something.
I'm gonna go back and do the side quest. I just, I'm taking a break. I don't know. I kind of need to take a break right now because it's like that the whole two things a day is like it's not draining. It's just like I'm conditioning to in my further endeavors in YouTube. It's like I'm gonna be more intense on these video things I'm doing. Speaking of video things, still playing Mass Effect 3 every day, and yeah, I had some weird stuff happen. So I was playing one day, and we were on wave 10, and we finished the objective wave, and I got disconnected from Xbox Live, and I was like, oh, isn't that awesome? So thanks Microsoft, thanks. And then what else did I have happen? Oh, wave 10 extraction as well. I had we were playing against Cerberus, and I was the N7 soldier. Destroyer or whatever, which is like the Devastator mode character, and so I'm not as used to playing with this character because they're like super slow and I don't like slow characters or whatever. So Phantom came up on me, I pulled out my missile launcher, I was about to shoot him, and then they stabbed me. I was like, oh, curses. It's like, you don't have time to react, and then in my lack of experience with the class, I should have just kept shooting, but what I did was I just pulled out the missile launcher because I was like, oh, I'm about to die, and I got killed. So but knowing that now, it's like I just know next time and just keep shooting, and it should be cool. But yeah, still going strong there, and it's like it never ends. However, I'm almost done with that class, and so this next couple of days, next 10 days, I'll be playing after tomorrow on Thursday when I get the last extraction with him. I'll be playing as the N7 Fury, so biotic awesomeness will be back after the boring soldier class. Besides that, been playing a lot. Well, I guess not a lot, but I'm still playing on the PSP because I swapped out for. Man, there's a lot of weird feedback on my mic. I'm sorry, but
Weird.
I've gone back to play Front Mission 3. I was like, I'm sorry, Arclad 2. I'm benching you. And you know what? I think I'm just gonna be like, F it PSP. I'm just gonna I'm gonna go out and have fun with my Vita, and I'm tired of you. Word
Benched.
It's like right now you're blocking me from enjoying my Vita, and I bought this Vita and I want to enjoy it. So and Borderlands 2 is almost here, and I might just go out and buy that one just because I can't buy games, but I can buy a console. And if it comes with the game, that's bonus for me because I can't buy games right now. So I'd like to have me some cross-play action there to just play with all the classes and whatnot. And all the DLC too, so that'll be a lot of stuff to play. Perform Mission 3 is still awesome, and I totally want to play it on YouTube now, because it's like, dude, it's so awesome. Like, once you understand the systems and stuff, it's like so good. And then like I have Perform Mission 4 on PS2, and I could never get, or I got like really far, but then I got stuck. But like after playing so much Perform Mission 3, I'm like, dude, it's time to go back. It's like bad guys in hiding, where you've been hiding, looking for you on PS2. I need to like come up with a better lyric than hiding.
Yeah,
for that first. But you know, once I do, bad guys on where you've been, something, looking for you on PS2. Yeah. And I'll find you on PS2 and defeat you. Besides that, shut up, RPG. Just the daily Gran Turismo 6 stuff, and there hasn't been any new weekly thingies. So, yeah. I might play some Batman in there, probably not, but that's all I've been playing, so go ahead, Tropical.
Well, I finally got back to Mass Effect.
Yay!
I set up my, I have like all of these PlayStation consoles set up downstairs now, and they're all hooked up to streaming equipment, so I decided when I get the chance, I'll go down and I'll stream some Mass Effect, and now I'm playing it sort of. My purpose lies outside of the game, so I'm having trouble because originally when I started this playthrough, I was gonna play through like, react naturally to things. But now, I don't know. Yeah, I guess my purpose I'm finding it hard to reattach to that purpose because I can't really remember it, and now I'm just like I think the past 4 or 5 play sessions, I've just been flying around to every planet in every system and seeing, oh, is there anything to survey? Oh, is there any? Oh, I can land on this one, and I'll land on it and I'll drive around and shoot stuff and like search monkeys apparently, and man, that one was weird. And try to talk to. They look like deer, but they have Tyrannosaurus arms.
Oh yeah, what do they call those? The king of horses. Yeah, they're like kangaroo.
Can
horses.
you talk to those?
No, you can't.
It's weird. Like when I went there, the prompt popped up. It would like lock on to one of them, and it would say "talk." And I was like,
maybe it was a trap.
They can talk.
You might get like reactions from the squad mates. They'll be like something. It's a blah 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 blah.
Maybe.
But I'm pretty sure
I
they
don't think
won't
I've
say
ever
anything
seen
to you.
these.
Yeah, they didn't say anything, but it was still strange because it locked onto them, and the prompt popped up for talk, and each one I could look at it and it would say talk. Like I can talk to them, or they can talk back, and I would push the button and nothing would happen. Like I guess it's glitchy because wow, the game is pretty glitchy.
Yeah, Mass Effect 1 is pretty rough around the edges.
Yeah, I have a video where my squad mates are just shooting at a wall, and I'm looking around like nothing is happening because I've played it before, and I know, okay, you kill all the Geth here, and then more Geth will come out from somewhere, I don't remember, and we'll kill those, and then the mission will be over. So I killed all the Geth, and then nothing happened. I was like, where's the second wave? And I look on my radar, I was like, oh, there is one somewhere. And I started looking, I was like, is it stuck outside?
Yeah,
Is it
that
outside the
happens.
map? Like, I don't want to do this again. And so I'm looking around, and then I see my squad mates, they're shooting at a wall. I'm like, what is it, boy? What is it? Are they in there? Are they in there?
Yes.
They weren't in there. They were shooting where the Geth were going to appear. So once I found the last one, it was a sniper stuck in this corner. Shot it, turned around, and instantly the Geth that spawned next all died because my squad mates were already shooting there. And like, oh, I guess it worked out. But man, that was very strange. That was Pharos, I think, the one that I usually go to first. So yeah, it was. Some of the dialogue in that part was really strange. Like the daughter that you find in the abandoned research building. At first she's like she doesn't know who Saren is. You ask her something, and she's like, I don't know who Saren is. And then you say something about whatever it is that you're looking for, and she's like, oh, maybe Saren knows where. Or just like, you just said you didn't know him.
I'm
Something
pretty
about
sure
you're
that's
lying.
not the daughter that says that, Tropical.
She
Is
could
it?
be.
I think it was. It was like when we ran into her the first time, and she was talking about the energy fields. Yeah, it was that part.
I'll have to watch this on your stream then.
It was very strange. I was just like, yeah, I'm starting to think that I may be able to bypass the romantic subplot.
Why would you do that?
Well, it just seems so unnatural to me the first time. The first time I played through, I was talking to all the squad mates, to get to know them. And then at one point there was just like Ashley with the ultimatums, like, you choose her or me, and I was like, what is happening?
That's why she didn't get chosen in mine. Nobody
like,
gives me an ultimatum.
This doesn't seem like the time. And I wasn't leading anyone on.
Weren't you Tropical? Weren't you?
And so this time, like, I haven't talked to any of the squad mates. I haven't talked to anyone.
It's funny that
so.
happened. Like, it's funny, like in my first playthrough that didn't happen, and I didn't like romance anybody, and I was like, hey, there's supposed to be romance in this game. I like completely missed it, and Gamer RPG made fun of me on the podcast. I was like, I don't know what I did wrong. I apparently didn't romance anybody, so I don't know what happened there. So that was funny. There's no cat fight. Gamer was like, there's no cat fight. I was like, no. I talk
There
to people
kind of
sometimes.
It's like, how'd you miss that? They practically tried to kill each other in mine. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. That just came out of the blue for me when I played it the first time, so I thought that was really weird. And this time, I'm not really talking to any of the squad mates because I feel like more important stuff. And also, I've never talked to Joker or Presley at all because I'm thinking, well, Shepard's been on this ship for a while, so he knows them already. So. We're just gonna be wasting time talking to them.
I'll just make a video for you, Tropical, of all the squad mate dialogue. Because I need to do that anyway, so yeah.
But yeah. And then, man, it would be cool if they could remake Mass Effect 1. I think, we should have some remakes, and not in the way that it's just like, oh, it's remastered or whatever. Like, you keep it.
It's a little early for a remake, though, isn't it? I mean,
well, I don't think like EA and BioWare should spend their time doing it, but if like fans wanted to do it, like, I would not be opposed to that. Because there are parts like, for example, they allow you to talk to your squad mates, your two squad mates that are with you at any time, and yet. Most of the time, they have nothing interesting to say. In fact, they will tell you to be quiet most of the time. Walking around, is like, not now, kind of busy. He's like, no, you're not. We're all just.
I just wanted to say you're just standing there. It's like, God, we should get the hint.
Yeah, it's like that is not how you should talk to your captain. And we aren't busy. I'm here. I know.
It's like we only go on missions when I say so, so clearly you're not doing anything important.
Right now. And there's like, no, kind of busy. It's like,
busy staring out this window into space. Oh my. Sheesh.
Like, it feels like if you're given the option to talk to them, they should have something to say. And so yeah, there are parts like, oh man, missed opportunity. I mean, you could see. I think maybe they did want to put something in, but then they just ran out of time, and so it became, well, basically whenever they have their guns drawn, they're just going to tell you that they have nothing to say. So, kind of sad. Yeah, let's see. So I've only finished, I have one main planet left, because I finished the first 3. But it's going to take a while for me to get there because I think there are 3 or 4 systems that I have to jump through to get to it.
Oh.
And then, yeah, sometimes I guess how it works is, so Tekken, you're saying that you eventually get all the quests by talking to people?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, I'm just jumping from random planet to random planet, and
Well, you have to talk to certain NPCs
right,
at certain times.
and they're on the Citadel.
Yeah, most of the time.
Okay, yeah,
Because it's interesting, like, what happens is, like, you have, like, the first time you get a Citadel, before you become a Spectre, like, there's like, the NPC you talk to, like, they'll give you the side quest on the Citadel, and then after you do your first story mission, I think some of them disappear, I'm not sure, but then there'll be more that reappear that will give you side quests that are on planets, and then, like, as you do more and more story missions, like, there's more NPCs to talk to on the, on the Citadel, and you also get, when you're doing, like, random stuff for the NPCs, like the messages from Admiral Hackett of like, oh, Shepard, while you're out there, something went down, so check this out. And there's like random stuff that happens with that, and like you have, or there's certain like things that you have to like meet to get certain side quests for that when you're like doing stuff out in the space. And it's
yeah. Like there's one where the
moon
Admiral guy.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, like he calls us a lot, and I'll be on my way to a random planet or a random system, and he'll call us and be like, hey, we just got into about this thing, and they're in this system. I was like, okay, we'll look into it.
Yeah, usually when that happens, that means that you're in that system already, that stuff's going down.
Oh, okay. So you wouldn't get those otherwise? Like, you do have to randomly jump to systems?
You would. It's just, you'd
eventually probably run through them anyway, trying to get to other places, so it wouldn't be.
You also get some of them from like elevators when like there's radio broadcasts. It'll like just add it to your journal if you don't check it. So.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
Although you're not missing much with the side quest in the first game, though.
Yeah,
so.
this RPG doesn't know what you're talking about.
Yes, I do. I've done like all of them, and they're all like the same thing.
They may all be the same, however, context.
The second one did a lot better on the side quests.
I will always defend. I was always defend these side quests in Mass Effect 1, even if they're all the same. I don't care. Like, it's like the stuff in them that happens different.
Actually, yeah. Like, so before there was no Mass Effect 1 for PS3. Is there still payoff for all the side quests though, in Mass Effect 2 and 3 on PlayStation 3?
I would imagine so.
Oh, so you're not sure
now?
Yeah, right? All the stuff you import like carries over from the previous game.
Okay, but yeah, like before when there was no previous game.
Oh, that was. Oh, okay. Not all of it that was in the other versions, wasn't it?
Oh, okay. So there are side quests in Mass Effect 1 that I play on PS3 that will have no payoffs in Mass Effect 2 and 3 because there was no Mass Effect 1.
No, they all have the same payoffs.
What kind of payoffs are you talking about, Dropable? Like,
I don't know because I haven't played them. I understand. Like, because Gamer and Tekken were talking about some side quest that has a cool payoff in the later games, and I was like, oh.
Cool.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if Conrad Werner's in PS3 or not. I'd have to go back and look.
Well,
he'd be one of them.
I don't know. We'll see.
There's also stuff in Mass Effect 2 that is like only inserted from stuff that you did in Mass Effect 1 that was not in the PS3 version that I noticed.
So even after you played, or have you played the PS3 version? You have, right?
I haven't finished it. I've played it, but I haven't finished it. I started it, but I just didn't finish it. So.
Of the first game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, is the first game bundled only with the trilogy on the PS3, or you can buy it separately?
Only digitally. It's not physically on disc. Just
Ew.
Well, I mean, I guess I won't see because I wouldn't know the difference either way. Only Tekken knows these things. And surprisingly, he doesn't. So, there's that.
Well, that's because I played the PS3 versions of them. I mean, it came out on 360 like forever and a day ago. So.
Anyway, the other thing about Mass Effect that's sort of, it bothers me is like the dialogue is very... I don't feel like I have control over my character. Because, you get the dialogue options, and sometimes you can kind of guess where they're going to go with it, but sometimes you can't. And I can't think of any example. Well, like, in the most shocking one was we had to shoot a guy, or Shepard shot a guy. And
I love how he's not taking responsibility for the fact that he shot a guy.
well, it's just
like, it was all Shepard's fault.
Judging from the dialogue choices, like, I don't see how that led to that.
Wait, which? Because I mean, there's some instances where you kind of had to shoot some people. Because I mean, was it like during one of the during one of the side missions or something, or?
Who did he shoot? I'm trying to remember.
Because I don't know if I'm getting it mixed up with the second game or not, but it's like I know there's like one where there's a guy, or I guess he's like a guard or something, and you like, is it either you throw him out a window or you shoot him or something, and then there's other moments where it's like he like draws his gun on some guy in a lab or something, and you had to shoot that guy or something. I don't know, or maybe I just shot everybody. That could have just been me. I don't know.
It was
There's a lot of dead people in my playthroughs, so.
Man,
That's what too. It was usually usually a renegade interrupt, or it would say like in the dialogue tree, it'd be like brackets saying shoot him.
Yeah. That's what I'm
So it'd be
saying. It's
more
like you had a
explicit, we're going to kill
choice.
this dude.
Yeah. It's not, it's not like,
Mass Effect 1 isn't like that at all. It was just like the 3 choices on the right, and I chose the middle one, and the dude ended up dead in the cutscene. And it was just like, and I was like, I don't remember what the wording was. It seemed very innocuous. It was just like, that is not how I imagined that would turn out at all.
Do you pick the middle option a lot when you do your dialogue trees?
Sometimes. Like,
I think I did a playthrough of all the middle choices, and it did seem like it did default a lot to Renegade during the default stuff.
That's
like,
what it is.
It's funny too, 'cause like even at the end when it's like the most important choice, if like you wouldn't want to renegade that, it's like, whatever.
Wait, which one was the renegade choice for the? Oh wait, Tropical hasn't finished it yet. Never mind. Don't just.
Because like the top choice seems to always be sort of like the nicer choice, and then the middle.
Well, it is the bottom choice is usually the renegade choice.
Yeah, and then the middle choice seems to just be like, oh, progress. It seems to be more the no nonsense response. And oftentimes, like, the top one and the middle one seem to be the same thing. And so it's just like, depending on who I'm talking to, I will use the top one or the middle one. Like the crew, I often use the middle one. It's just like, I'm your captain. I don't need to be nice to you. And then when we're talking to people that we might need help from, then we use the top one.
Oh, you can still renegade those people. It's called threatening them, getting them to do what you want them to do. Coercion works in these games, Tropical. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
Anyway, yeah, man, missed opportunities. I feel like we could make a much better Mass Effect now.
Well, I think they already have.
Also, like, item management is really annoying.
Yeah, worst inventory system ever.
It's one of the things, like, it seems like they just weren't thinking, because I've often in the last few days ended up with basically too many items, and then if I guess when you kill guys, you get items sometimes, but you don't know that you got the items until you open up your
menu.
It'll pop up on the screen, like, plus item to inventory.
Yeah, on the side, but yeah, I'm not really looking at that.
Oh, well, you're not paying attention.
When you're in the middle of a firefight, though, sometimes you're not like, hold on, let me just make sure I got items and stuff. So.
Pause, let me see what I got. But yeah, it's stupid, because you get into your equipment, and then it'll say, oh, you have too many items, you need to discard some before you can get more. And then I can't do anything. The only thing I can do is to Omnigel all the stuff that I just got.
I had so many Omnigels.
Just like, wait, why can't I Omnigel the stuff that I already have? Like, it won't let me select anything. It won't let me back out of this menu. I'm forced to Omnigel all the new stuff I got. was like, well, that's dumb. And then like when you omnigel weapons, it's fine because if you omnigel one, then it disappears from the list, and then the cursor is just put on the next item in the list. But when you omnigel mods to armor and weapons, every time you omnigel something, it jumps back to the top of the list. And like, this is really inefficient because I want to omnigel all of the weaker stuff, which is all at the bottom. But every time I omnigel one, it jumps me back to the top, and then I have to go through the list to get to the bottom, and then omnigel again. It's like, oh, this is taking forever.
Well, lucky for your chapter code, they fixed that in the next 2 games. So
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, they've already made a better Mass Effect game, Tropical. You just haven't gotten to it. That's what the problem is.
And I want them to make a better Mass Effect 1.
Yeah, that you can't have. I'm sorry.
I want someone to make. Yeah, it feels like we could have an era where that could be possible. I mean, it would be
remake previous game things. Because I mean, I don't know. For me, I just feel like
it's sort of like homages to the games that you really liked, and the tools are just much simpler now. And
but it's too soon, Tropical.
it's like covers. People making covers of their favorite games.
Yes,
That's really awesome.
Yeah, it also doesn't sound legal.
Superior cover of the original game.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the Mass Effect stuff. I think I'm almost done, right?
Probably.
yeah, if you're at the next to the last, or you're at the last story planet, you're almost done.
How does he know he's on the last story planet?
He just said he was on. He said he just said he was. He said he was, burp. He said he was on the last story planet.
My question is, how does he know that though? Because it's like he hasn't beaten the game before, has he?
I've beat the game before on PC.
Okay. I was just about to say, like, how would you even know?
Like the one that starts with V is the 4th planet,
Yeah,
right?
Vermeer.
And is there one after that?
There's stuff after that happens.
But that's like the last planet, right?
Yeah.
Is that the one
Yeah.
with the
Well, it's not the last planet, just the last story mission, and then there's other stuff that happens. It's like, oh, there's more.
Oh wait, is that the second?
Oh,
You're confusing me now.
well, I only partially remember what happens, or I remember what happens, just not in the right order, probably.
Oh.
Do we meet someone and then we learn something, and then there's a battle?
That happens
and
at the very end.
You just got like every game ever, Tropical.
Oh,
it's
someone. There's a battle. Something happens.
Stuff goes down, and then yeah.
How a story works.
All right, so yeah, that's a Mass Effect. So yay, almost there, and then I can make space and get the second game, and then download that, and then I mean, I already have that one. I think it was on sale once, really cheap. So I just need to make space to get it on the system, and then I can start going through that one. Whew! I've spent way more time in Mass Effect than I thought I would. I think I'm around the 30-hour mark.
Some people say it's not an RPG though, so you know, I don't know what they're talking about.
Are RPGs only defined by the amount of time that you play in them?
I'm just saying, not to me, but you know, some people say it's not an RPG.
I mean,
Yeah. Why RPG? What is the RPG? What is it?
oh, nothing. Go ahead, Tropical. Continue playing stuff or what you were playing. Offensive.
Yeah. Well, so I finished Thomas Was Alone.
Oh.
That game
Did he stay alone?
has a very no.
Oh.
That game has a very
Spoiler alert.
it feels like a very deep story, and yet I'm not really sure what it was about. And I think it's because I took a several week-long break in the middle, and I sort of forgot what was going on. And yet, I remember all of the characters, which is weird because the game stars a bunch of rectangles and squares.
I was gonna ask you about that. I was about to say, isn't that the game with just like the blocks? Like,
Yeah, but like the story is really, I suppose thought-provoking would be the way to say it.
Is it now?
Yes, it is. The game is pretty amazing. It's not It's sort of, it's like part puzzle game, part platformer. So there'll be instances where the different rectangles are capable of different things. Some jump higher, some don't jump as high, some float, and this is, they do all this different stuff, and so you have to figure out how to use them all in order to get through each level and to the exits. And sometimes like the exits will all be scattered, so not all the rectangles will have to go to the same places, and they'll just all have to help each other get to the exits that they're supposed to go to. And it's just, yeah. And then the whole way there's narration talking about what they're thinking, and you can really see them as characters, even though
What platform is this on? No.
this is both. I think it's on PC also, but PS3 and Vita. And yeah, it is quite the game. I played through, I was like, wow.
Did it make you think about life?
What was that?
Did it?
But I may have skipped the ending cutscene by accident. Because it was playing, and then it was like, oh, this it's happening, and then it just sort of cut abruptly. And then it was credits, and I was like, was that the ending, or did I hit something?
Maybe it was intentional. Make you think.
Maybe.
Did you think?
I was thinking before that. I was like, wow, I think this game's story feels really deep, but I don't remember the earlier parts quite as well. And also, there's like parts where they have these quotes from different people, and they scroll by pretty quickly, and I wasn't able to really read and fully appreciate what they were saying in them. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to play it again.
Maybe that's why they do that. So you will play it again.
Maybe.
Now I kind of want to play this game to see how deep it really is.
Really cool. And I was just like, that was crazy. It was about rectangles.
Leave it to tropical.
I know by name. I barely remember what colors they are, but if you tell me approximate size, I can tell you their names. Yeah, it's amazing. Highly recommended.
How much is it on the thingy store?
I have no idea. I know it's cross-buy.
So you can play it on both?
Yes.
Alone. Even that title sounds deep. Yeah, I bet he was alone. Even when surrounded by people.
Oh yeah. Well, it's on Steam, $10. So I imagine.
Well, I'm not gonna play it on a PC. Ew, who does that?
But I'm imagining it's around that price.
Oh.
But for 2 systems.
Oh,
here we go.
I would buy it on a console anyway, because PCs. What am I, a PC gamer?
Here, give me the price in pounds.
Are you looking at the British store or something? Or the Huh. I forget how conversions work for money for us, so I'm assuming it's at least somewhere around that.
US dollars.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It was like, I don't know conversions for that. Alrighty then. That sounds.
But yeah, it's very surprising. You know what? Yeah, when I saw it, I thought, oh, it's like jumping blocks, and it looks really crisp and clean, and it's sort of a puzzle platformer, and that's sort of all I thought about it. But then, yeah, I started playing. It's like, oh, there's narration. And I was like, oh, this block's name is Thomas, and oh, so this is Thomas, and then and then you meet Chris, and it's like, oh, Chris is like this, and he doesn't like Thomas because Thomas is a better jumper than he is, and he's it's like, oh, show off. And then there's John, who is really awesome at jumping, and he feels very heroic because he's able to help Thomas and Chris, and it's just like wow, what is happening?
It's like, dude, they're just rectangles. What's going on here?
And yeah, it's great. Oh,
This kind of makes me. This kind of makes me miss the Lost Vikings series.
Yeah, it plays kind of like that actually.
But
they're blocks.
Yeah, I mean.
So yeah, that's a cool game. Yay! Backlog beatdown. Thomas was alone.
He finished one game after he already bought like 50 last week. Victory!
500 to go.
How tropical.
And then so in the past week, the trophy competition between me and Gamer has become a game again, because
I was like, you guys still doing that?
Yeah, it's because the trophy, like, the cool part is we don't have to do anything really. The trophies all add up by themselves. We both have PlayStation Plus, so that it all updates automatically, and there's just you don't have to do anything. You have to do is like look at the other person's trophy list. And so yeah, I look, and I don't think we even usually I don't even look at his trophy list. I just look at the percentage and the level. And so we're both level 22. And until recently, he was like 20 or 30% behind me on the way to level 23. And then I think it was over the weekend I was like, oh, he's at 89%. And I'm at, or maybe I was at 89%. Anyway, yeah, it was just like within 2 or 3 percentage points, and then he surpassed me 2 days ago. And so I was like, oh, okay, it's on, cool. And so I started looking for things I could get trophies in quickly. Thomas was alone. Gave me a few, maybe 1 or 2. But yeah, I started playing Battlefield, because there's one trophy that I've been trying to get, and I haven't thought about it in a while. And then I was like, when this happened, I decided, oh yeah, I'll just go back and play that. And it's basically they've added sort of a scoring system to every level. So every mission in the campaign, depending on score, you get a different badge. And so there's like a bronze, a silver, and a gold badge, and it's like more and more points gets you higher badges. And then the trophies are 1,000 points higher than the gold badge for every mission. And there's this one mission, and this is the modern era of military first-person shooters, so the levels are really short. And there's this one level that I just could not get that 1,000 points above the gold badge. And I couldn't figure it out, because you get 100 points for every enemy you kill. You get 25 more points if it's a headshot or a melee kill. You get an extra 50 points if it's a was it a mult? Yeah, I don't remember all the point stuff. But yeah, I was I just kept playing that same level over and over again, trying to get this score, and I would always be 300 to 500 points away from it every time. And it was really annoying, first of all, because the level starts off with a pretty long non-interactive part where you're just riding in a van and the people in front of you are talking, and you can't do anything. You just sit there. And then there's another part where you don't get to fight yet, and you just have to walk this long distance. So there's a very long non-combat part before the level starts, and then the level starts, and it ends very quickly after you've killed everything. And man, just you get to that last moment, and it's like, okay, check the score. It's like, still like 400 away, and there's nothing left to kill. It's like, why? So yeah, it was very frustrating. I finally got it, I think later today. But yeah, so what came out of that? The cool part was my wife was watching TV, and I was sitting there thinking about, oh, I want to play this, and then I realized, oh wait, it's on PS4. I can do that remote play thing that they've been talking about.
The same feature you've been talking about beforehand.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, I haven't really used it as quite as extensively as I did in the past week, and like I noticed a lot of stuff about it. The first thing I noticed was that the rear touch mapping is not how I expected it. I thought it would just be 4 quadrants of the rear touch, but it's actually 4 like virtual buttons on the rear touch. So they're not all bunched together, and you can't. It's hard to accidentally hit one when you meant to hit the other because there's like spacing between them, and you can't really accidentally hit the buttons either just by holding the Vita wrong because they're sort of they're not all the way up to the edge of the touchpad, so you actually still have some place to put your hands. And it's just like, wow, this is more well thought out than I originally imagined. And then another thing that happened, I was playing Killzone Shadowfall with remote play, and I noticed that it's not even divided into 4 quadrants in that game. It's actually only divided into 2 like halves. One of them is for running, and then the other one is for melee. And then it's like, well, you're still missing 2 buttons from the PS4 controller, so where do those go? And they actually put them into the front touchscreens, like lower left and right corners. And it just, yeah, I was amazed. Like, oh, so basically, if a developer really wants to, they can really customize how all the touch interfaces work for their game in remote play.
It works like that for some of just the Vita games as well, not just remote play stuff though.
Well, yeah, but you would think like with remote play, like the way they've been talking about it, it seemed like it was just going to be, oh, remote play is automatic. So that's why every game supports remote play, because the system does it automatically. PS4 and Vita, they were made for each other, and Vita just is able to do that with PS4 games. But then, yeah, it goes further than that. It's not just, oh, these 2 back parts are L1 or L2 and L3, and this is R2 and R3, and you just have no choice, and it's just, just hard coded in. It's actually, oh, you have options. You can change these around, and that's really neat.
I think you can do that on the PSP with some PS1 game. Well, not all the buttons, but like the way like how the R1 and R2, L1 R2, but L1 L2 buttons work. Like
Yeah,
it's mapped
like
to
when
the analog nub or whatnot.
Is that how it works? Well, I know, like when
Use
you
my
play
PSP and, like,
PSP game on Vita, you can change it so that the trigger stuff, or I forget how it was, but like God of War on PSP, you dodge by pushing both triggers. And when you play the PSP version of that God of War game on Vita, you can actually have it mapped so that instead of using the triggers, you can just use the right stick like it is on the PS3 and PS2 versions of the game. But yeah, like which one?
Oh no, cause I haven't played a God of War game in like a while, so so I was like, wait, is that how that works?
Yeah, remote play is like, wow, this is actually, there is more to it than I thought there was. Yeah, I just thought it was a very simple thing. It's like, oh, you just turn on the Vita, and then you just have to make do with these rear touch buttons, and that's how you play it. But then, seeing how it's totally different between Killzone and Battlefield 4 is like, oh, so developers can actually say, oh, we don't want, all these buttons to be on the back. We're just going to put these two. So now it's just 2 buttons on the back, and then we'll put the other buttons on the front. And then the touchpad on the DualShock 4 is still, the front touch screen on the Vita, except it's sort of smaller and above these 2 buttons that are at the bottom. It is much cooler than I thought. And hopefully it will get better. So yeah, one thing I noticed was that sometimes it will say that there's a connection issue between the Vita and the PS4, but what I noticed was almost every time that it said it, the PS4's fan would suddenly spin up. And I'm wondering, is it actually... It's not actually an internet issue. It might actually be... I don't know, like the PS4 needs a little bit of time to catch up because it is... I don't know, doing something different with these images. It has to squish them down so that they can be sent out to the Vita. And so now it's like, oh, now we're doing a lot of work and, alongside playing the actual game. And so it has to spin up and then it just can't quite catch up. Maybe sometimes that's what happens.
I have no idea because I don't know how remote play works for those two.
Yeah, I don't know.
So is the Vita like not doing any of the work?
Pretty much. It's receiving images and sending out controller inputs.
Well, that's just lazy.
Images and sound. It is amazing. It is. I think it's more amazing than it seems. Everyone, the one question everyone always asks is like, "Oh, is there lag?" And it's like the lag thing is not even the issue anymore. It's just sort of that all seems to work. The limitations of controls, like that should be a bigger concern.
Yeah.
And so it's neat to see that it's like, wow, there are actually clever implementations of the hardware to get around those controller limitations.
Can you do remote play like in the middle of a game, or does it have to be something you like consciously start and or
yeah, so if I'm in the middle of a game, I don't even have to push pause, I think. I'm not sure if the game will automatically pause, but yeah, you don't even have to push pause. You just go to your Vita, hit the PS4 thingy, and then say remote play, and it'll connect to the PS4, and it will just, immediately it will mirror whatever image is on your TV, and you just pick up from there on your Vita.
Huh. That'll be great when I have to go to the bathroom. Useful feature. I mean, you laugh, but sometimes you'll be in the middle of something and it's like, oh my god, I can't pause right now. And it's like, it's kind of a useful feature to have.
Yeah, I don't think
Just
that ever
saying.
happened to me, so you know.
Oh, well, most of the games I play don't always have pause features, so.
I mean, even Metal Gear Solid, you can pause cutscenes, so you know.
Yeah, well, it doesn't work like that in RPGs all the time, Tekken, so, I mean.
Is another problem?
Yeah, well, shut up.
I mean, I think eventually... Well, PS4 game, I don't know if there are going to be any that you can't pause. Because, if nothing, you can always hit the...
I was about to say share button and then rewatch it later.
Oh, yeah, hit the share button, too.
Well, no, because usually if you hit, like, the home button, it pauses most games. It doesn't work on all of them, but... For most
Is that
of them.
true? I'm not really sure. I think it will...
Because I've tried it before, and like there'll be still stuff playing in the back, or like I said, for RPGs that don't have like pause features or something, it usually just doesn't pause.
Wait, are you talking about home button on the PS3?
Yeah, well, yeah, because I don't have a PS4 Tropical, so I don't know how it works on the PS4. So, just saying.
I think, if nothing, it may not bring up a pause menu in the game now, but I think it always pauses now when you go back to the PS4 menu.
Kind of like how.
Or if nothing else, right now apparently, like suspend and resume seems to work, just not if you turn off the console. What you have to do is, say if you're playing a game and you start Netflix, that actually suspends your game. But then when you jump out, you can jump back into the game.
Instead of having to quit it to do
Yeah,
it.
it's weird.
Well,
So
I mean,
suspending it will definitely pause the game.
because I mean, that's like similar to the Vita's feature, isn't it? With the
Yeah.
they'll just
Yeah.
suspend it anytime. So they really were made for each other, weren't they? Hmm.
And it is going to be beautiful. Ooh, I should try the Final Fantasy beta on roleplay. Oh,
Should. In the bathroom.
about that.
Do it, Tropical. Do it.
So cool. Yeah. Did I finish anything else? Doubtfully. There was some PS2 stuff in there too. Just mostly checking things. New all my consoles are here now.
All 15 of them.
That's exciting. They are, man, they're really worn. Like, latest model of the PS2 had half. It looks kind of like the Xbox One, except without all the vents. Or I guess the PS4 looks like that too. Half of it is glossy and half of it is matte. And the glossy part on all these consoles is really wrecked. And I was just like,
Oh my, what were they doing?
what do you do with these?
Yeah.
Good question.
Like, seriously, what would they have been doing?
Like, how did this happen?
Nice little flashback. Their house is like on fire or something, and they're like running around like, "Oh my god, save the console!"
Oh, I tripped. Okay, it's just a little scuffed. Run! We'll sell it on eBay.
I know, right? Adventures.
Yeah, I don't understand. And then
Because even after all the moves I've had and all the years I've had my PS3, it's still in pretty good condition. So I don't know what people would have been doing with their console. And I still have to, because the older PS3s have the glossy finish.
totally glossy, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah. So I don't know what these people have been doing to their consoles, but
There was another weird part. Like, one of the controllers, so it was an actual. Oh, it turned out in the end one of my controllers was not a DualShock 2. So that was kind of sad, but
ew.
the other one that was a DualShock 2 was it had rattling sounds coming from inside. And I was like, oh great, this isn't good.
Crap, there's a snake.
when you shake it.
Oh.
And so I plugged it in and tested it out. I was like, well, it seems to all work. So what is that sound in there? And so I opened it up, and it was really strange. There were lots of broken plastic pieces inside of it, but none of them were crucial. It was just like,
I'm guessing it's other plastic pieces that were broken off.
yeah, it was just like parts of the plastic pieces look like they would have held things in place, but they're not in the positions to hold anything in place. They're just like the leftover plastic pieces. It's like, first of all, how did these break off?
Rumble.
Save the controller!
Weird.
A very rumble intensive game that was played a lot of times.
I don't know if there couldn't have been a game in existence that would have caused that kind of damage. I mean, how many games actually even use the rumble feature? Extensively.
A lot, actually.
I meant like extensively though, like because I know there were some that rumbled every once in a while something, but it's not like something where it's like rumbling every 15 seconds or something, or that the rumble was that strong.
If you drive poorly in drive, that happens.
Oh boy. Then you should pick another genre to play.
Yeah, it was really strange. It's like, huh, it seems to be totally fine, except there's all these plastic pieces that don't really do anything, and yet, how did they break off? And it's just like small chips of it too. It's like, wow, I don't. Could this have happened by throwing it? It's like, nah. Yeah, it's a mystery.
Maybe
it happened during shipping or something.
The the pressure and like didn't take any external damage. It was just all internal. Compacting.
They're not in contact with anything.
Oh well.
It was very strange. I was like,
It's a magical controller trapticle. You won.
yeah.
Or maybe somebody opened it up intentionally, broke those off, and then closed it back up. It's like, haha, surprise! Because that seems like a more likely thing to have happened. Out of spite.
They made a DIY rattle for their kid out of
Basically.
controller.
It's like, well, I can't find a rattle. Just get the controller. I'm pretty sure there's pieces in there. You can just
We'll
shake
bring
around.
some pieces inside, and then it'll rattle.
And there you go. Makeshift rattle.
Who knows? But it is, well, it's very exciting actually. It's just like, it's cool to have all these PS2s. I probably shouldn't keep them all, but
Well, no, 'cause you don't need them.
I have this family of PlayStation products downstairs. There's the PS3 sitting there, and it's a slim, so not as awesome as the old big one. And then there's like 4 PS2s of varying size and model, and they just hang out together with my family of PSPs that are
How many
different
PSPs
models.
do
and
you
different
have?
colors. I think I have. Let's see. I have the launch one. I have a pink import one that was the 1000. Then I have a purple import, which was a 2000, and I also have a black 2000 from the US. So
Why do you have so many PSPs? Why would you do that?
some of them were gifts, and then they joined my family when I got married.
Sheesh.
And then there's the PS1 that I got. Oh, okay.
Is your
Aimless Adventure
PS1
Time.
like the mini PS1, or is it like the old VAT
Yes,
PS1?
it is the mini PS1,
Oh,
and it
has
has
Ew.
first-party LCD screen on it.
Oh yeah, those
also,
are the cool ones.
it is really cool. But this story is really old. Like, it happened on eBay. It came from eBay. So I
No
was.
good ever comes
I
from
don't
that.
remember what I was looking for. I think it was in my first year when I spent the most money on eBay. And yeah, I found an auction for, I think it was listed something like PS1 with LCD screen and 100 games. And it was something like $70 or $80. And at the time, it was the PS2 era. And I thought, wow, that's a really good deal. And I won that one, and I got it all here. And then it turned out that none of the games were real PS1 games. They were all like burned onto or like pirated, burned PS1 games.
Ah.
And I was like, what? And then but I put them in the PS1 and they worked. So it turned out
It's modded?
yeah, the PS1 that I got is modded.
Ah.
And I was like, oh, well, this sucks. So I wrote back the seller and I was like, hey, you this was sort of dishonest. Like, all you said was that it was 100 some PS1 games, and you sort of listed out some of them, and then it wasn't like they weren't PS1 games. They're just like your burned software onto CDs. And I was like, if I had known, like, I think if anyone had known that this is what it was, they wouldn't have
They
paid
wouldn't
the
buy it.
price. Yeah, like, I wouldn't have paid the price that I did to get this bundle. And then the guy was like, I forget what happened, but he was just like, oh, well, offer a refund if you send me back the games. And I was like, well, that doesn't seem fair. Like, I'll keep them, but I don't think I should have paid the price that you charged me for. But in the end, I was like, you know what? Fine. Like, I'll take my money back and send them back. But the thought dawned upon me, is like, wait, if they're just burned CDs, then I can just copy them myself and then send the CDs back. And so at the time, I copied, I think, 5 or 6 of them, because most of them were very strange import games, and I didn't know Japanese at the time. It was like, well, I don't know what this game is, so no. I just copied a few of them. So like Pocket Fighter, I think I got the pre-Marvel vs. Capcom, like it was like X-Men Fighter, like a few of those.
That game back in the day. Arcades, man, arcades.
Yeah, and so I got all those, and during my PS2 extravaganza last week and the week before, I decided that, you know what? Yeah, this is like a growing PlayStation family. Let's get all the PlayStation family members out, and I got them all out, and I found the PS1, and the screen has been really weird for the past few years, but somehow I fixed it, and it's like, oh, cool. So now the screen looks really good, and games on it look really good because the screen is tiny. And even though they're PS1 games, like they don't seem really jagged because the screen is really small. Color is really good now. It's like, wow, I think this is the best I've ever seen this screen. And then I was like, oh, PS1 controller is broken. So my one DualShock 1
just can't get a break.
What? Do I go to eBay again?
Haven't you learned Tropical?
Wait, hang on. I think DualShock 2s work on the PS1, right? And so I tried that out, and so far it seems to work. So
I didn't know that worked.
hoping that is the solution. Because it would be cool to have a matching PS1 controller for the PS1, except they were wireless controllers back then. So the more of these older controllers I have, the more cables I have. And I already have like 2 suitcases full of cables. And it's like, I don't really want any more.
Wait, did the PlayStation have a DualShock controller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
The DualShock 1.
Weird. Because I feel like some of the PlayStation games I've tried playing on my current console don't, like, the analog sticks don't they're not used.
Yeah.
So, weird.
I think, well, I wasn't really around for the PlayStation era, but like Ape Escape is the one I hear about.
Oh my god, I love Ape Escape. Wait, oh yeah, that's true. They would have had, because they would have had to use it for like the gadgets and stuff, use the right stick and everything, so they would have had to do that.
Oh, and then it was like, what, the N64 got the Rumble Pack? And then a little after that, that's when the PlayStation controller became the DualShock.
Yeah. Rumble features. Because that's what we need. Vibrating controllers.
I think I had a Rumble Pack.
Because like they need the 64 controller to be unwieldy.
I have this really weird like third-party Rumble Pack that's like got a red light on it, and like when it rumbles, like the light goes off, so it's like rumbling and blinking at the same time.
Fun.
Yeah, controllers used to be ridiculous back then. Because even like the Dreamcast one was pretty huge too, and kind of strange.
It was pretty lightweight though. I mean, as long as you didn't have.
Well, yeah.
There. It was pretty light.
Didn't they have some, or did they all have screens, or was like some just certain ones?
You could buy. I don't know if Sega made ones without screens, but I know you could get.
The memory cards had screens in them.
Oh, because I knew it was something that had screens or something. I was like, this is so weird. Why is this a thing? So
it was like, cool for NFL 2K, whatever. But yeah.
And then the Duke happened with the giant controller, just half the size of his console.
So yeah, pretty much what I've been playing.
Alright, well, I guess we can go on to the news and stuff.
Can we, though? Can we?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. So I think probably the biggest news of the week is that there is going to be a Titanfall bundle.
There is. I saw it.
It is not going to look like Titanfall, as some earlier sort of leaks suggested had been canceled. It's just going to be a regular Xbox One with Titanfall for the same price.
Which isn't as exciting.
And in the UK, they're getting a better deal, whereas the price of the system is actually coming down by, I think it was like £30. And it's also going to come with Titanfall. So they're getting a price cut and a bundle in game.
I've seen a bundle here. Well, I mean, it wasn't like a Titanfall one, but like I've seen, like I think for like $470 or something for Xbox One. It was like a game. It was like bundled with 1 or 2 games or something. I don't know if it was just like a promotional thing or something, but I've seen. I think I saw it at like GameStop the last time I was there. Because they were doing, because they had like another bundle that they were doing for like the PS4 as well, but
oh yeah,
like, I don't know if that's just like their thing that they're doing, or if
yeah,
that's
like
an
a lot of
official
retailers have been doing bundles for the different systems. Not so much on the PS4 because they don't really have any.
Because I was about to say if they actually have them in stock, they could.
But yeah, Xbox One, you know, like the Walmart had the gift card bundle, and there was another one with a game bundle somewhere, and yeah, the Titanfall is the first official like from Microsoft bundle. For a limited time.
So jump on it while you can, guys.
I suppose. But yeah, I was looking at it as like, and you know, the big question has been: is Titanfall going to be a system seller? And a lot of people think it is, but it's sort of weird because it's like, if it's a system seller, why are you giving it away for free?
That's a good question.
Well, I mean,
it's like if it's a system seller, that means that people will buy it because they want it, and so that will sort of override price.
Well, I mean,
you know, it's like if you're going to
getting
spend $500, what is $60 more?
I mean, Microsoft is still getting theirs, though. I mean, because it's not changing the price of their console. So, I mean, maybe the people who, or the Titanfall people, are the ones who are getting what's the word I'm looking for, shafted in that case or something.
Well, Microsoft is only paying them. So, like, the analysis I saw today is like, oh, everyone wins in this situation. Microsoft wins because they get more consoles out there. EA wins because they get more Titanfall out there. And because, you know, if the more Titanfall is out there, then more people are playing it, and it becomes a bigger and bigger hit. And the bigger hit Titanfall is, the more EA will be able to ask Microsoft for later if Microsoft decides we're going to lock Titanfall down, you know, as a franchise forever.
But this is, like you were saying, assuming it's a system seller, though. I mean, because it's still available on a 360 and the PC, right? It's not just...
Yeah, that's true.
So...
Consumers win because they save a little bit of money.
Do they?
More so in the UK. And apparently that's only the UK is getting the reduced price and Titanfall bundle. And we are the only ones getting the Titanfall bundle with no reduced price.
Yay.
No.
Like, do we celebrate for that or no? Man, I mean, we probably won't get a real reduced price until they decide to finally get rid of Kinect. Just
which
sell the damn
isn't
console.
going to happen.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
They
So,
keep talking about, nope, we're not going to do that.
But they pulled a 180 before.
Yeah, like, you know, everything that they've said, they've been able to go back on. They said that, oh, we got this online thing, and it's not like we can just flip a switch and get rid of it, and then they got rid of it.
well, they're in too deep with Kinect now, so it's going to be harder to get rid of that one. So,
Recently, they've been, like, before the launch, they're saying, yeah, Xbox One, we think it's a great value. In fact, we think we're over-delivering on value at the $500 price point. And now it's like, okay, we'll give you another game. Now we're really over-delivering.
It's like, have we convinced you yet?
We'll reduce the price. Now we're really over.
Why won't you buy us? Because
Yeah. So apparently this has to mean that they're really behind, right?
Well, I mean, they may not be really behind. They just probably aren't having the sales numbers that they were hoping for.
Otherwise, it would be a real price reduction.
Yeah.
They're just sort of behind.
Because if
I think another article I read, so was it Don Matrix? He said in the Xbox 360 era, it's like whoever gets to 10 million consoles ahead first wins the console war. Was that him?
I don't remember.
I don't.
I remember that being said though. So
Yeah,
I
that was
remember
like
that's
a
like
quote.
when the Wii just like blew up.
I was about to say,
Passed them both.
like,
And it's like, what's going on? That was like the crazy time. It was just like, yeah, that was like, what's going on here?
But yeah, I guess the theory behind it is once you get a big enough lead on your competition, then it becomes sort of it's like a threshold. Once that install base hits that threshold, then there's sort of no stopping the momentum of that system. Whereas it will, developers will suddenly be like, well, obviously we put more resources into that one because more people own that one. And then, friends the early adopters, they tell their friends, and then their friends tell their friends. And then, it gets to a point where it feels like if you buy the other one, you're sort of being an idiot. It's just like, why would you buy the other one when everyone has this one? And so, like, I forget who wrote it. They were talking about, so this seems to be Microsoft. They might not be doing poorly, but it's just like they don't want to lose too much ground. Because if they lose too much ground, then they become sort of not relevant.
well, you'll know when they get that $100 price slash. Then you'll know. It's like, oh, it's time to make up ground now. So
it's been pretty crazy around this one bit of news. People talking about, see, early adopters are stupid because now it's going to be cheaper-ish.
Yeah,
and
those $20 gonna get you so many games.
Other stuff. So shutdowns happening. Gran Turismo 5. This was announced before, but they are shutting down online services for that game. Kind of sucks. The suckiest part is the DLC stuff. So the DLC is divided into different types, and some of them you'll be able to access still after the servers are shut down, and some of them you won't be able to access anymore. So things like cars and tracks, I think right now you have to go download like the family. I forget what it was, but it was like a free pack that they put up where if you had bought DLC, originally you could only use it on your account, but then they released a free thing that allowed you to use it on all the accounts on your system, just like basically everything else works that way. And so you have to download that in order to keep access to your cars and tracks after the online services go down in, I believe it is May. But things like paint chips and certain racing gear and stuff, I think, are just going to be gone. So if you delete your install of Gran Turismo 5 and then reinstall it, you won't be able to download those things again, even if they're in your download list, because they just won't be there anymore.
Dun dun dun.
And like, that's one of those things where it's just like, digital. And then Call of Duty Elite is being shut down. So now it's just going to be the Call of Duty app, which, as far as I know, only supports Ghosts. So I guess apps for Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare, whatever the newest one was, 3? Yeah, those are gonna be.
They had a 4, didn't they?
No, 4's not out.
Oh, then I'm sorry. I just assumed it was. These are things that are probably going to happen anyway, so.
Yeah, so those are going away. The Call of Duty thing is happening, I think, at the end of this week, 28th. And then apparently, like, Santa Monica Studios had some layoffs, and like they had a new IP or something, and it was canceled.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Wait,
Is
was
there
it
a strike?
announced one, or?
Yeah, they just announced you know, they're moving to a new office, and they had all this recruitment stuff on their website, and it was like, oh, everything is awesome, and you know, there's just all these reports like developers coming out of Sony saying, yeah, like right now is the best time to be a developer at Sony because you got the resources and management is willing to listen, and it's just like it's the greatest time. And then you hear this, and it's like, what is going on? I thought it was all happy over there. No.
Apparently not.
Who knows?
I don't. I sure don't.
Walking Dead season 2 episode 2 is coming out in March.
Yay.
There was a trailer apparently, but
I
only
hate that they put it on IGN. I was like, oh, I'm not watching that crap. I'm gonna wait until it's available separately.
yeah.
It's like, F you, IGN.
Exactly.
Oh. It's not very nice.
F 'em.
Just F them.
Oh, actually, a cool thing. Grounded, The Last of Us is on.
Available on Amazon and YouTube. Well, it was free on Amazon in the US, but I'm not sure if it still is. But it's also on YouTube.
Yeah.
What is?
I still get to watch it though.
Grounded, the making of The Last of Us. You should probably have played the game.
Yeah, you should. It has spoilers.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Wait, Tekken, did you see it?
I've seen a part of it that was
Okay.
played during the Outer Lands 24/7 live stream Kickstarter thingy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those guys made it.
Yeah.
It is awesome. I sat there and I was like, wow, just so much insight and stuff. And there's like a whole segment where it's just like the actors talking about that process. It was just like, this is so cool. I love that these things exist. Cause, and now this one, and
We should have funded Outer Lands Tropical, then you could have just got it for free when it came out. Or not for free, but like could get like, the whole season when it came out.
I'll get it when it comes out.
Mm.
Wait, you won't be able to buy the seasons when it comes out?
I don't know.
That's weird. You should be able to.
Oh, wait, never mind. I'm wrong. Yeah, you're probably able to. I was wrong.
You get them for free. It's like, not really.
Or maybe a reduced price. I don't know.
Yeah, that. Hopefully that is true. Well, it's sort of crazy. Like, this is sort of a whole new thing.
I love Kickstarter.
Films around games.
Oh, that.
Because there really wasn't this sort of stuff. I mean, there was
That is true.
the little bit of stuff that G4 used to do and Tech TV used to do, and
Man, Icons was the best.
yeah, Icons was amazing. And now all that's gone, and
I'm sorry.
but then there was Two Player Productions, which is they did the Double Fine Adventure behind the scenes, and yeah, they've been doing a lot of this stuff, and now Area 5, and it's like, wow, there are actual entire studios are based around doing the story of games. It's just like, that's really cool.
Yeah, the kind of stuff that like exists now is it's kind of like only like documentaries of like 2000 era game development of like the history of gaming from Space War to now. It's like not really in depth of like the development side of how games are made,
Yep.
which is way more interesting. I mean, there's some like behind the scenes featurette stuff like on Beyond Two Souls and whatnot, but it's just not as like in depth and as awesome.
Yeah. Like, it's cool when they have these sort of everything. movie versions instead of clips that you watch. Dev Diary 1, Dev Diary 2. And dev diaries aren't made by filmmakers. They're made by devs, and sometimes they're very clunky, and it's just like, come on. We like a little bit of polish, and you guys are in the creative industry, so make this better. Like, well, you know, I guess they're making games, so other people gotta step up and do it.
Is there any more news?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Well, there was a recent one, but I haven't read it yet. Something about the lawmakers are aiming at violent
I
video
saw
games
that
again
before
by
you
saying
protest.
by using the tax
That's
bill.
But there are a lot of stupid politicians, so I guess it makes sense.
Yes, that's true. Did you read that article before? It was talking about the Sandy Hook. You know, afterwards they talked about, oh, we're gonna.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah,
the money for research and whatnot.
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
basically
read all of
went
it.
nowhere.
I read some of it.
It
It
was
was a
like-
very long article.
Yeah. Well, the part that interested me was, you know, in the public eye and the media was all about, oh, games are part of this. And then when it went behind closed doors and the CDC was like planning the research and stuff, basically no one took that part seriously. It was like games were not part of the discussion when it was not in front of the media. It was just like it's like, so the games part is just sort of, it's part of a news story, but when real people are talking about it, no one thinks that that's part of the problem. But so yeah, here this is again. Damn. Yeah, the news.
I don't know. I haven't been checking it, so I don't know.
I've mostly been looking at PlayStation stuff because, as I've said, everything is happening there. It makes me so happy. So like they, you know, Curve Studios announced their last game of the month, Swapper, which was on PC, and it was really highly rated. And so that's coming
during the winter Steam, so I haven't played it yet though. So.
Oh. Well, that's coming to PS3, PS4, and Vita in May. A game called Vessel is coming to PS3 in March. It's sort of a puzzle type game. I'm not really sure.
Sort of. How do you sort of be a puzzle game?
Yeah, Persona games that were announced.
Oh my god!
This year or late last year are all coming to North America. So that's really awesome. So Persona 5, Persona Q, was it? The Labyrinth one for 3DS.
Shadow of the Labyrinth.
The dancing one for Vita.
Up All Night. I think that's one.
And I think there was is there a fourth one?
There
Or
is.
is it just
It's
three?
it's the Ulta, the fighting one.
Oh yeah, the
that's
Battle
original
Arena
one.
part.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I only cared
yeah.
about Q and 5, so.
Let's see. I think Persona 5 and the dancing one are coming out in 2015,
Yeah.
and the 3DS and Arena one are coming out this year in the fall.
Yes.
That's pretty exciting.
God, yes.
There's a new PS3 bundle. It's going to come with Lego's The Hobbit.
I saw the Lego movie.
I heard it was really good. Apparently, it's
pretty
doing really
used.
well in theaters.
It's a pretty fun movie. So.
anything else? Yeah. Oh, the Dead Nation might get a PS4 version. Apparently, it was like leaked on the Asian PlayStation blog that a
Which
PS4 version.
pretty, whatchamacallit? There's the word for that. I can't think of it right now. Accurate. There we go.
A sure thing.
Because I remember Mass Effect 3 DLC went on there, and I was like, what? And until it came out, I was like, oh yeah.
So yeah, I think that's supposed to be their free plus game for March, and I don't know. We won't find out what the US one is until. Oh, actually, it's February, so it's a short month. So
I'm just about to say it had to be soon because
tomorrow or Friday we will find out what is coming out for the US. Yeah. Check out Tekken's. I don't know what they're called now. It used to be called a Year of Plus, and now I think it's probably just called like deals
It's,
on
Plus and Live deals. That's what it's called now.
Yeah, check that out because they're really good deals this week on PSN.
apparently the Wolf Among Us is like $9 for the season pass or something.
Walking Dead, I think, is on sale too.
I might
Find for PlayStation Plus.
I might go ahead and get that instead of waiting for the $30 disc version because that wouldn't make any sense.
Yes, that would not make any sense.
But I don't want to use my credit card on the PlayStation though.
Wait a
You
minute.
can use gift cards or the PSN cards. You don't have to use your credit card.
Oh,
That's what I do.
well, then that's what I'll do.
Because I don't want to be externally intruded again.
Wait, Tekken, you haven't played The Wolf Among Us episode 2 yet?
Yeah.
You haven't?
Yeah, I have. I haven't done my reverse playthrough yet of it on PS3.
Well, now that it's so cheap, even if I don't like it, it's okay, so... I've already rationalized it. This is happening.
Oh, actually, a cool thing happened in Diablo 3 for PC in that it has been significantly altered in anticipation of the release of Reaper of Souls, which is the expansion pack. For one thing, they added a feature that wasn't in the PC version but was in the console versions, called Nephilim Glory. And you run around and you'll pick up these like golden orbs, and they give you like damage boosts for a certain amount of time. They also did a really crazy thing with the Paragon system, in which is that what it's called? Man,
I just thought something while we were recording this. I think we should like make the news its own like podcast thing, and just like have like what you've been playing and like a separate thing, and then like the news would like be its own thing, and then you just go like however long to get like all the stories covered. But that's that's a random thought I'm just throwing out there. I just thought about that.
Well, that's why I asked you if you were gonna cut it before you're right after the thingy, but you didn't.
Are we running out of time?
You did not.
I totally did.
Whatever, BG. We're good. We're good.
And it's recorded now, so
we have like 20 minutes or like 30 minutes. We're good. We're good on time. Chatable.
Anyway, yeah, they switched it. So before it was just every Paragon level you got, you would get more and more percentage chance of picking up cool stuff, or like finding cool drops. And now they've changed it. So originally there was a maximum level. You could get to 100 levels in Paragon, and then that was it. But now there is no level cap, so you can infinitely get Paragon levels. But now instead of that adding the percentage chance of getting cool stuff, it gives you points. So it actually works a lot like Borderlands. What was that system called?
Badass points, tokens.
Yeah, that thing. Whereas like it carries across all of your maxed out level characters, and you get there's like 4 different types of points in Diablo. There's like core stats, and like damage ones and defense ones, and another one that I can't remember. But yeah, you sort of get those round robin every Paragon level you get, and then you can assign them how you want. and 3 of those categories I think can be maxed out, and then one of them can't be maxed out, so you can always get more of that one. And I can't remember what that one is. But yeah, that's really different. So infinitely replayable now, especially in Reaper of Souls, because they're adding an adventure mode, which is, instead of playing through the story endlessly like you do on all the other Diablo games, it's sort of just randomly generated adventure areas that you can play in forever and get cool stuff and level up forever.
And ever.
And ever.
And ever. And also ever.
So that was really neat. I saw that today. I was like, oh yeah, they also took out like the different difficulty modes. So they had sort of Diablo appropriate colorful naming for the different difficulty modes. Before in Diablo there was normal, and then hell mode, and then nightmare, and inferno, and those are all out of order because I can't remember the order.
I was just about to say,
those are all gone now.
Doesn't seem like escalating.
Yeah, I think nightmare is for hell. But yeah, they've changed those, and apparently enemies all scale to your level now. And yeah, so today I just tried it out, and I was like, okay, level 60, and I ran in at the very beginning of the game, and there's like one Walking Dead thing, and it usually would have took maybe 1 or 2 hits to kill, and it took way more than that. And I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be hard.
Oh, tropical.
So yeah. Okay, I'm done. That's the stuff that
PlayStation 4 launched in Japan, sold 322,000 units.
Oh yeah, that did happen, didn't it?
That did happen. But it doesn't concern us. We already
I
had
was just
it.
about to say, we in America.
So the story today that people have been jumping on for that is that software apparently didn't sell that many. The most selling game was, Knack, but Knack was a pack-in. So 300,000, around 300,000 copies of Knack.
That doesn't
And
count
the
them.
next one was the new Yakuza game, which had something like 80,000 sales.
Isn't that the issue that's been like going on in Japan? Is that like software sales have just been really terrible
For everything?
or just like it just seems like the market in Japan has like been stagnating.
Well,
This is Monster
yeah,
Hunter.
they're different. They're more about mobile and portable stuff.
And Monster Hunter.
But yeah.
I'm just saying that when the platform is like less relevant in that territory, doesn't that mean like there's gonna be less games from that territory being made in general?
Yeah.
No.
PS3 software that says hi RPG. All the games you have to play all the time, they're just amazing RPGs on the PS3.
The American press all says that there's not really any games for launch on the PS4, so, and yet we bought a ton of them, so maybe the Japanese are just smarter than us.
That is true.
Well, I mean,
Because I didn't even buy one, so.
We looked at it and I was like, well, I want the system, so I'm just gonna buy 4 or 5, or in my case, 8 games.
all of them.
And Japan was like, well, I want the system, but I can wait. So they bought it, and they got Knack to come with it anyway. It's like, well, that doesn't cost extra, and so they went home with Knack.
So it doesn't seem logical.
Like the numbers, someone added up, was like, yeah, so that means that if you don't count Knack, only 200,000 some copies of games were sold cumulatively, which means that not everyone who bought a PS4 bought a game. And
what the hell are they
going
gonna do with it?
Like, PS4, yeah, people, came up with the usual explanations like, well, they're not Japanese games, and Japanese people don't like other people, so they didn't buy the game.
Well,
And I was like, well, I mean, isn't it reasonable to just assume like most people aren't crazy like me? And,
most people are not tropical.
Like,
That's what we're doing.
yeah, they were just like, well, I got a game with it, so I don't need to buy another. And plus, PlayStation Plus is going to be all those games with that, so I buy the system and I have everything I need. I get my 30-day trial of PlayStation Plus, so I download Resogun and I download Contrast and I have Knack. So that's 3 games that I have.
Don't forget
Just fine.
Don't Starve and Outlast.
They don't have those yet.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah, like that's what they would have, those 3 games. It's like, that's 3 games at your console launch, and you didn't have to spend any extra money. That's cool. And so they went home with that happy, and other people were like, well, I'm getting it to play Yakuza, which makes sense. And so, because that's a really popular series
I guess
there.
that does make sense, because like without Watch Dogs, it was kind of like, well, what am I buying this for now? Which is why I didn't get one. Thanks, Ubisoft. Thanks. I can never thank you enough for that.
You can't blame Ubisoft for that. I mean,
Not blaming them.
Well, I guess Valve's right. Games are hard to make, so thanks for proving them right, Ubisoft. Thanks for proving them right.
oh please, you probably wouldn't have bought it anyway after all of that, because you were kind of back and forth even when Watch Dogs before it got delayed. So
I'm curious, like, what happened to your PS4 fund? Is it just waiting for September?
It's just sitting in my bank account, Traptical. Just sitting there waiting.
Oh.
It's kind of like what I do with my tax return. I just sit on it and like wait until there's something I want to buy.
Are you still like adding to it? Because I mean, you could like have it for like games and stuff. So then you just have like a huge.
I'm at an equilibrium with my wants and needs and costs and overhead. So it just sits there. When I need
I mean, like you could. No, I meant like you can put more money into it so you'd have or so you can buy like more games or something for it when you do buy the console.
And like 10 games.
Trust me, RPG. Trust me, I'm good. I haven't even like done my taxes yet, so I'm good. And like when I do my tax return, it'll be even more. And it's like, oh, like everything like I'm adding that like that I'm all my revenue I'm generating is just like going towards PS4 funds. So I am kind of adding to it, like you say, but it's not at an exponential rate because I'm not rich. So
okay.
it's like saving up my pennies.
Is it linear?
Is it what?
Never mind.
Oh my God, this is not a math class, guys. Not doing this. We're not doing this.
I think that's why I'm so good at like with my money, is because I'm good at math. And I'm like, oh, if I do this and this and this, I can cut here. It'll save me this much and this much every month, and yada yada yada. So, yeah.
I'm fantastic at math. That doesn't mean I'm good with my money.
Well, yeah, there's 2 different things. But when you learn how to there's a word for that. Be smart with your money. It really helps. And it really helps if you're that and good with math. Cause you can be like, ooh, I can totally cut corners all these other places. Like I never go to car wash. I mean, okay, we need to move on. But yeah, PS4 fund is growing. That's all that matters.
That's awesome.
Maybe I should start a PS4 fund.
I await your arrival, you guys.
Although I'll probably just have the money to just go out and buy one when the time comes. So
yeah, I was thinking earlier this year, it's like, oh, it'd be cool. It's really easy to come with a sort of gamer-themed Thanksgiving. Because for me, it was like, oh, we could do a thing where it's like you thank the people who make your gaming better. Because like games now, like multiplayer games, like it can't just be the game is good enough. You also need other people to play it, and then so arguably like those people also are responsible for making that game fun for you. And so I was thinking like Treasures of Montezuma Blitz, the free-to-play game on Vita. I'm still playing that. It's like, why? It's like, well, there are 2 people on my friends list who are still playing it, and like they have a weekly built into the game. It's a weekly contest, so the leaderboard is reset every week, and you get medals for placing higher among your friends. And it's just like, so having those 2 people play lets me play this game and still get something out of it. Whereas if no one on my friends list was playing it, then it's like, well, what's the point?
Probably wouldn't care. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm matching 3 jewels, but I can do that in 100 other games, and some of those games actually have stories and might be fun. Whereas one is just like, oh, you're just doing it to pass the time. And I was thinking, like, wow, that'd be. I don't think I've ever seen that, like a gamer's Thanksgiving thing. Be pretty cool. now I expect it to show up on some other site.
I know, right? It's gonna happen. It's like, guys,
have you noticed that?
It's weird. This great idea. It's like lies.
We will talk about stuff
especially
on the
podcast.
AAA
thing, dude. That was like, or like, I know, like, there's so many things that we talk about, and like over the next days, it's like, oh,
yeah.
Polygon article.
You mean like with the blockbuster? What makes it a AAA title or something?
I don't remember. I just remember
because I know because I was just about to say there was like a because I did see like one story where they were like, well, what makes a AAA game? And then they were talking about stuff. I was like, oh my god, we were just talking about this with the blockbuster thing. What the hell? So
well, I was talking about last week about what is Microsoft drinking their own Kool-Aid? It's like they forgot that they double counted lots of people who bought replacement Xbox 360s, so they sort of thought, oh, those are the numbers we should expect here. And they totally weren't.
There's something else Havoc was talking about.
Yeah, like,
I was like, I saw an article on.
I saw it. I was like, what? So you think, are people out there? Is that someone's on Twitch? Hello.
It might not be. They could just be listening to the recordings after the fact, and then they're like, this sounds like a good idea for a story.
I've never heard about us anywhere else.
Well, that's because we don't get credited for anything.
It's just like, so are we ahead of the curve? Like we just, I mean, there's two possibilities, right? Well, either everyone is thinking the same thing and we're just ahead of them, or someone is listening to us and they're just like, oh, that's a good idea.
I think we're just ahead of the curve. We just like surf on the edge of where like ideas.
It probably helps that we go on so many
bubble up from the ether
when we do stuff, so we always end up talking about random stuff anyway. So it's like, huh. Oh.
That turns out to be what other people think later.
It's like, huh. Or I think you mean heard us, and then they're like, yeah, let's do this. Sounds like a great idea. It's not cool.
Very interesting. I mean, it's kind of cool, but yeah, that we haven't heard about us, and if it is coming from us, that would suck.
It's like, hey, how about somebody like throw a little hey, by the way, we heard this on this one place. We can it's like, oh, thanks guys, nice. Although I know Kotaku stopped doing their like podcast and stuff a while ago, didn't they? Do they still do it?
I don't read Kotaku anymore, so you know.
Yeah, I left them.
Because I mean, I've only gone to like Polygon, and because I even stopped going to like Destructoid and Joystick after that whole incident before. But I don't know.
You know, it's weird. Mostly, I've been going to IGN now because that site is totally different than what it used to be. I think. Oh, I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast before, but there's been a divergence, right? A lot of game sites. It's the thing about reviews where people say that reviews should be. Some are like, reviews can be objective, or they believe to some degree in objectivity in their reviews, and then other people believe, well, why are you complaining? This is a review. It's subjective, so I can say whatever I want. And there's been sort of a divergence where there are game sites that are totally about everyone here is platform agnostic and we don't love or hate any of them and we talk all about them equally and we're just sort of machines that have no feelings and support this stuff. And IGN is not one of those places. They have totally become, you know, these are the people that we have, and they have preferences.
Essentially,
that
it's like AGM was back in the day, where it's like you have PlayStation dude, Xbox dude, Sega dude, Microsoft dude, yada yada yada.
And so it's become, you know, you never go to IGN anymore and you say IGN's review was this. Usually now, I can think of who
wrote a
person behind that review. And it's become much more about, it's like the people of IGN. And it's not just IGN. It's like, like Greg Miller has become sort of a brand on himself. It's just, he has his own show. He's got his own store. You know, he's the host of Up at Noon. And just like his personality is a much bigger draw to me now than just IGN as logo and website. And it's just like, wow, it's so different now. It used to be all about, nope, we can't reveal our preferences at all, except in our review scores. And it is.
I mean, it's possible to. I mean, it's still possible to be subjective and still provide a objective review. Kind of, because I mean, you can like list off the stuff that you didn't like, but that might be something that somebody does like, so it wouldn't be like a bad thing to have, I guess, people's preferences and stuff when they do stuff.
Hey, well, I'm hopeful this generation, with all the sharing and stuff like that, it becomes a more. Because really, what it's become is that there aren't millions of gamers. There's only maybe 20 gamers, and it's like, well, obviously there's more than that, but how does that work? It's like, well, because like everyone has latched on to their reviewer and they listen to whatever their reviewer says, and there's only so many reviewers, and so it's like there is people like RPG are rare. People who like, everyone talks about like, oh, I don't follow the reviews, but most people do.
I don't follow reviews.
I
have my 1 month a month or 1 game a month schedule.
Well, okay.
whatever my weird schedule is that year. So this year it's not 1 year a month or 1 game a year or month.
1 year a month, yeah, because that's how yours work. Violating time.
It feels to me that like core gamers. Yeah, rarely are you selling games to individuals anymore. It always feels like you're selling it to groups who are represented by certain reviewers. And so it's not really you're trying to convince millions of people. You're only trying to convince these 20 or 30 people who write reviews, and those reviews are going to determine whether or not your game does well. But with this generation and just like, I guess it was happening even before, with YouTube and just communication and just like having all these voices out there, it's much harder to become the sort of tribe mentality, because there's all these other different opinions, and it's like, oh, so it becomes easier to just not follow the tribes and just be on your own. Be your own tribe. Start your own tribe.
Be your own tribe. Your tribe of one.
1 person tribe. Yeah, I was about to say 1 person tribe.
Your tribe of one. Yeah.
This task falls to, me.
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna be streaming so much stuff.
If the internet is not destroyed.
I know, right?
I tried to article about that. It was depressing with the whole Netflix and Comcast thing. It's like, just makes me want to kill someone. Not literally, but
They're all like, oh, it's fine. We're not going to abuse our power.
But they will.
And then they started to abuse power. As they started to abuse their power, they assured us they would not abuse it.
Is that not how that works? I mean, you tell people you're not going to do something, and then you do exactly what you say you're not going to do? Because then you can blindside them, and by then it's too late. It's called a sucker punch.
Terrible.
But effective.
So sad. Yeah. That's what's been on my mind. And news and stuff. Now we got here.
Yeah, that's... how do we ever get anywhere? Man. It is a good thing we're not driving on a road or something. It's like, weren't we on our way to somewhere else?
That's kind of fun now, though, because, well, unless you it'll be dangerous. Never mind.
Yeah. Which reminds me, I need to get my passport renewed.
Okay,
Right.
so are we wrapping it up now?
Yep. Yes, you should always wrap it up. Be safe out there, guys.
What?
Oh, that was a little PSA for, never mind. Just go ahead and continue.
So, sign us off, dudes.
It's Tropical's job. He's supposed to be all plugging us and stuff. Or not.
Plug us. That is our message to whoever it is that is listening.
You're supposed to plug us, Tropical. Tell them where we are. And stuff.
Someone is listening, right? Is that what's happening?
I'm assuming.
No, we're ahead of the curve.
Oh, right.
But yeah. So, yeah, if you want to see more, or, sorry. Oh, yeah, no, actually, there is video. So, if you want to see more cutting-edge game analysis, then follow us on aimlessbabble.com, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes.
We everywhere.
This.
Have anything to say, RPG, before we sign off?
Nope.
Alrighty, well, that's it for this episode of Aimless Babble Z. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening. And until you see or hear from us again, we are now signing off.